What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, the conservative libertarian here. And yes, sir, we're back with another one. Yes, sir. All right, so we got Mr. David Pakman, right? I don't really watch his show. As you can see if I scroll down, not subscribed, right? We got Mr. David Pakman, and he's going to be expressing his feelings towards the Democratic Party and where he thinks the Democratic Party is going to be going in the coming years. Let's get right into it. Let's go.
Happening is so existentially serious for Democrats and for the left more broadly that I don't think I can stay silent. Now, here's the problem. 95%, 98% of Democrats are either unable or unwilling to communicate in an emotionally salient, meaningful way with voters on shows. Now, I am not saying this from the outside. I am seeing this in my conversations with these elected officials. I have them on the show all the time. I know that when you watch MSNBC, sometimes Democrats are asked questions and they go into like a talking point coma and you're like, did they just answer the question? I don't even know what they're talking about. But it's not just happening on MSNBC and CNN. It's happening when I try to talk to them as well. Now, everybody I'm going to mention, and I have to mention some people, they're all nice people. I think they want the best for their constituents. This is not personal. But when I see how the right is communicating and how these Democrats are communicating, I see us barreling towards disaster, and I want to fix it. Okay. There's risk to doing this, but I think it has to be done. When I interviewed Colorado Governor Jared Polis, things were fine until I brought up to him that nearly a quarter of Colorado apartments are owned by private equity. And like, is that really good? And he kind of got defensive and he defended private equity's ownership of apartments. And when I pressed a little bit further, the tone shifted. And you could tell he wasn't happy with me by the end of the interview. And just that light pushback completely changed the dynamic of the interview. That's not good. I then interviewed Colin Allred recently, running for Senate in Texas. I think he's a fine candidate on paper. I like the guy. I've liked him for a long time, supported his previous runs when he was running in the Senate previously. When I asked Colin, why would Republicans in Texas vote for a Democrat in 2025? What is it that you're offering? He gave me this long answer going back to 2017. Now, listen, I understand history matters. But I pointed out, you're not really answering the question. And we hit an impasse. And if you look at the comments on that interview, this isn't even my opinion. Look at the comments on YouTube for that interview. Your reaction was exactly what I was thinking, which is he's not answering the question. He is really talking around the issue. And he never really gets to the point of saying, why are Texas Republicans going to vote for you or any Democrat this time around, given what's going on? We didn't get an answer. It was a very straightforward question. We didn't get an answer.
I'm surprised he's just now seeing this a lot. Like, if you watch any Democrat on anything, like anybody, like they're all spewing the same talking points. Even people who may not even be like I would say, congressmen or, people who are, high elected officials and stuff like that. They'll still spew the same talking point. It's like universal. And some Democrats will claim that Republicans spew the same talking point. And it's like, no, because I think, like I said, I don't think all conservatives have the same viewpoint. I think we do center around a similar structure of like Christianity. But I think there's a lot of Republicans and a lot of conservatives who definitely have their own viewpoints on a lot of issues, whether it's crime, immigration, the economy, social issues and stuff like that. Like they're going to have their different types of takes on that. Because like I said, I don't really care that much what you want to do with your life as long as you're not infringing on other people. There's some people who really care about what you do with your life and want to infringe on you even though they don't want you to infringe on them. You know what I'm saying? The kind of the oxymoron type of situation that you have with some conservatives. For him to just now be experiencing this type of delusion and diluted characteristic trait that I say that a lot of Democrats have. They're not really standing for anything. They're not really standing up for anything besides standing against Trump. You only can stand up against Trump for so long before Trump is no longer this thing that you're standing up against. And then it's like, then after you stand up against Trump, then what's left? So yeah, it's like I said, I'm very shocked that he's just now figuring this out. But it's interesting. It's kind of telling about him though.
More recently, I interviewed Rahm Emanuel, who is considering a 2028 run. And I asked him what I thought were really straightforward questions about Democratic messaging, connection with voters. What is it that the left needs to offer in terms of like, what are we doing economically, right? With Kamala, it was so muddled. She's got this tax deduction for new business expenses. Give me the clear economic thing. And he responded by speaking 6 minutes uninterrupted about education. Now, education is a huge issue, of course. But when I explained that wasn't my question was about economics. And he sort of interrupted and said, David, you know, maybe you don't care about education, but I do. And I don't think it was good. And again, if you look at the comments, you guys hated it. This is just like one example. Dan wrote to me and said, David, what the fuck is Rahm Emanuel's deal? He got defensive and hostile in your interview and acted as though you'd insulted him or slandered his honor. All you did was ask a pointed question about strategy. Then you politely interrupted his lunatic word salad after what felt like 20 minutes to gently push for specifics. All he wanted to do then was change the subject and pontificate about totally unrelated topics. When you agreed with him on those unrelated things while trying to refocus him on the original question, he got visibly angry. Veins were popping out of the MFer's head. Dude needs a shot of Haldol and some smelling salts to calm his ass down. I've never seen a guy so full of himself. We don't need another thin-skinned, hot-headed psycho in the White House. 2 terms of Trump have been more than enough by 2028. Great show. Take care. I wouldn't characterize that interview with all the F-bombs, but that sentiment was the overwhelming reaction to my interview of Rahm Emanuel. Now, I am doing everything I can to tell these officials when I don't think that they are communicating well. And I've done it behind closed doors and I've done it on interviews. And if there is not a clear platform, clear policy ideas, an emotional connection to voters, Democrats are going to keep running into the same wall. Now, let me address Zoran Mamdani. With someone like Zoran Mamdani, who, let's be clear, he's a socialist and I'm not, right? Like, I have fundamental differences with Zoran Mamdani. He is emerging as one of the few Democrats who actually excites people and just answers the questions that he's asked. You might agree with his policies or you might not. You might like what he's suggesting or not. You might be a capitalist and he's a socialist. But when he asks a question, he answers the question.
And that's why I said, if you watch any of my Zoran Mamdani videos, is that this guy's on point. And this is another reason why a lot of Democrats and a lot of Democrats, people that I know, that they can't see this, but it's happening. The socialists and Marxist groups of the Democratic Party, right? The communist group of the Democratic Party, they're going to be taking over the Democratic Party soon. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, you know what I'm saying? They're all getting primary. Like, they're all done. Like, they're going to be done soon. Like, I'm telling you, these people are going to be done. If a guy like Zoran Mamdani can surge in the New York, in one of the biggest metropolitan cities ever, and he can be the number one candidate to potentially become the mayor, and then even have the governor, Kathy Hochul, co-sign him, you know what I'm saying, endorse his mayoral run. Like, bro, yeah, no, like, socialism is on the rise. Socialism is on a big rise, and I think a lot of that, like the Democrat has said, like, he's focused on education, which I think education is a good thing to be focused on, because if we had educated our kids more, or the people prior to Zoran Mamdani's election, those people who were voting for him, you know, if we would have educated our kids more about how capitalism is a good structure for the country and how we've been able to prosper successfully for decades and millennia, maybe we wouldn't be having a lot of these socialist ideas and these Marxist ideas about how the world should be. I do think people live in this nihilistic culture. We live in a nihilistic culture where no one really cares about tomorrow. They're just living for today. And I think the Democrats, they're not really selling on people about a future. They're not selling people on the future. They're only selling people on what's happening today. And I think Zoran Mamdani is that solution for a lot of the people who are feeling insecure or worried about the future, and they want to make sure that their future is secure. Now, whether putting Zoran Mamdani as, saying the mayoral candidate or your mayor for New York City is going to help you fix the problems of your self-doubt and worriness about your security in future will be seen, because we don't know how socialism has truly worked yet. And in the countries that it has worked in or it has been implemented in, not all of them have been successful. So we will see what happens with that. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're leveling up out here, man. New mic. I'm gonna be decorating my background and make it a lot more professional. I'm gonna try to get this set up really nice for you guys, because I want to start doing the right thing and taking this stuff serious, man. Because if I'm gonna be speaking my mind and giving you guys my opinion on how I see the world, I want to be able to give you guys great content back in return. So yeah, keep liking, keep subscribing, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.